Guys, welcome back to my gaming channel. So today's video, I'm so excited about this build. It's a really simple, cute build, but it does take some time because there's a lot of details. But I thought this would be really fun because since the beginning of this game, I've used my this part of Dazzle Beach as a little mermaid build, and it was very like under the sea themed. I had all the clamshell and seashell items, but I wanted to do something different that was inspired by the live action Little Mermaid movie. If you've watched it, which I'm assuming you have, you know that there's a scene where Eric takes Ariel out for a day of like venturing the property, and they go to like this little market on the docks, and then they have their boat scene, and I wanted to recreate that. So I have my water already filled with water lilies and water foliage. So if you want to do that first, feel free. I have Ariel's house right here center, so that when you walk down the stairs, it's the first thing you see. So I thought it would be so cute to create this really nice beach look with the docks aesthetic, because in the movie the docks are on a sandy part of the beach, and I wanted to recreate that look on a sandy part of the beach instead of doing it on Eternity Isle. So we're going to start with the tropical pathing, or the tropical wood floor. It's called tropical wood floor, and we're going to put that all the way down to create the kind of dock look. And this is where we're going to start with our whole like farmers market little tropical shop aesthetic. I'm also building Eric's castle on the other side here. So her house is to our direct front, and then Eric's is to the left, and it looks so beautiful at the end. So wait and see, because I love this, and I think you're gonna love it too. So again, just putting that entire pathing down the length of this part of Dazzle Beach. Before I started adding furniture, I wanted to make sure to get our basics out of the way. So I added some palm trees to the back part of the build. And then I wanted to add these tangled columns, the wood columns. I thought this would be really nice as this like grand little entrance to our market. These wood columns look so nice outdoors. They really have a beachy vibe when incorporated into a beach build. So this is going to be our little entrance. I decided since that little patch of grass is right there, it would be perfect as a seating area for everyone who comes and visits this little market. To begin building our little market, I'm starting with the torches, and I'm adding a bunch of those. I bought like 50 of them from Scrooge's because I wasn't sure how many I wanted to use, but I wanted to really incorporate a lot of these beach torches. And then I'm gonna add a bunch of tables and fruit stands because I know that I want this market to be super lush. I also added the rustic clock tower to our main little seating area. I thought that would be really cute as a little nook or centerpiece. I did realize once I was done that it was too tall for the area, but I thought this would be really pretty if you don't have Ariel's castle in front of the stairs. I have Ariel's castle there, therefore the rustic clock was just too big and it was taking attention away. But if you don't have Ariel's castle in the water, I think the rustic clock looks so beautiful in this build. I'm also adding some of the Encanto fabric clothing little holders. I'm adding a bunch of cute wood items like the Lion King dividers. To me, those really look like something you would see in a tropical oasis. They look really nice and very tropical in this build. I'm adding a bunch of brown items like crates, tables, just a bunch of things like stalls and sacks. You really get the idea. Add as many market-like items as you want. You could even add some tents here. I added some of the Eternity Isle market stalls. So fill this up with all the goodies that you think would look good in your market. You could just do whatever you like, or you could be themed. So for me, I kind of go with a theme. I imagine like this is where someone sells like shells. This is someone who sells seafood. This is someone who sells antiques. This is someone who sells clothing. This is someone who sells whatever it is. You get the point. I also have someone that I set up to be like an astrologer / palm reader psychic. So I will go in and show you all the little details. But for now, I'm just starting to build my little market with wood and different items like that. Now I really wanted to add that boat aesthetic with all the little water foliage to really give it that dock look, as if a bunch of people are coming into the dock here to sell items and to exchange items. I also thought these little boats look so cute because they are a reference to the Kiss the Girl scene in The Little Mermaid. So it worked out perfectly to do it in this area. I added a bunch of the craftable canoes as well as the regular little boats that we got with the Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it was a Star Path, I don't remember, but any little boat you have in the game will work. You could even do the swans if you wanted it to be a little bit more modern and cutesy. I'm also adding some of the Ancients Landing light posts. These are so pretty and tropical here, but you could just add whatever you want. I'm adding a bunch more items like tables. I'm adding in the clay jugs. I'm adding in baskets of clothing and just a bunch of cute little knickknacks. And then we're going to go in with the little final details after this. So go in with all the stalls and everything that you want to build out your market. As I mentioned before, I like to go in and add the final little details with a theme. So this person's theme was kind of like an overgrown kind of knick-knack style. So this person is very tropical. I wanted to create a very nautical aesthetic. So you're gonna see I'm keeping to a very specific color palette. We're talking a lot of blue, wood, and white. So this person has like clothing items and different knickknacks. I added the Wally white wood clothing rack. I added the Beauty and the Beast clothing rack, and I'm adjusting as I go. For this person, I'm using the blue Eternity Isle little tent as well. And this is the person who's going to be my astrologist slash palm reader slash psychic. So I thought that the charter rug would look so pretty here because, like I said, this person is a stargazer. So we're going to add the spindle. We're going to add the royal chair. We're going to add stacks and stacks of books. So it looks like they're reading about the world and they're going to tell you about their travels. I also ended up adding the snow globe from Frozen later on as a crystal ball. It didn't occur to me here, but I added it in later and it looked so cool. So add it in if you're building with me. I'm adding one of the writing desks because it looks very regal. We're also going to add a vase. We're going to add some pirates booty to different parts of this build because it really adds to that tropical aesthetic as if they have a bunch of goodies to sell you. For this person, I'm adding in the refreshing chest, and it looks so cool and tropical. I'm also adding in this blue Corona sink, a basket of water, some wood. Again, just a bunch of like tropical items, a fruit bowl, things that feel very nautical and tropical. And of course, this is all customizable. Do whatever you like. I wanted this person to look very tropical, as if they've been collecting items. Maybe people leave items on the beach and they are just making a little business out of it. I also added in one of the tables from the Pirates of the Caribbean. I also added one of the shell little seating chairs. And then I'm gonna add a bunch of the little seashells as decor around the entire build. So you can add as many of these as you like. I'm also adding in a guitar. Again, I want it to look like they found knickknacks that people have been leaving on the beach and they're selling them. Now across here, we're gonna make a little area where this is where I imagine someone who's like a caricature artist or a painter. They're sitting at the market, and as people shop, they offer them paintings. So I added a little table, a little wood basket, a pail of water, a jug, a little chair, and this is gonna look like a little area where they're sitting and offering paintings. More clay jugs, of course, because they really add to that tropical aesthetic, and it just looks like, maybe there's flowers in there or something like that. I'm also adding the telescope to our astrology build because, again, this is something they would have. I also love the Ancients fountain here as a little entrance. It looks so pretty and it adds that extra water element and a little bit of a focal point. To avoid this video being too long, I'm gonna just quickly go through the rest of this build in fast mode, but feel free to slow it down if you want to follow along. I'm just gonna finish my little market by adding in other items like chests, tables, knickknacks, fans, a Yule log, I think that's a Yule goat, harps, tables, more foliage, just a bunch of random knickknacks. If you watch my Belle Provincial Town build, it's very similar to that. Just add all the items that you think are going to fit this aesthetic, whatever your aesthetic is, with whether it's more tropical or nautical like mine. I'm adding in baskets and fruit. I'm adding in tables that have fruit all over them as a fruit, cellar. And then I'm adding more knickknacks to really build out all of these little areas. Like I mentioned, just a bunch of knickknacks, more tables, chairs. I'm adding in a crafting table just to make it more practical and useful. You could also add in more chests. I'm also adding in more of the ancient lamp posts and more boats, just really filling this area out. And so this is very time consuming and detail oriented. So really feel free to do whatever you like and whatever feels good to you. At this point, I added in more palm trees. I made some adjustments, and now we're going in with detail items. I'm dropping some Eternity Isle starfish, some Eternity Isle octopus, some seashells, some scales, a bunch of cute little items, seaweed, fish, rope, sand, all those little aesthetic tropical droppable items. I'm also going to drop a potion for our little painter so it looks like paint. And at this point, you could really drop anything you want. If you have someone who's more industrial, you could drop screws, nails, bricks. You could drop all types of seafood if you wanted to do a table that was like a seafood cellar. You could drop a bunch of gems if you wanted to do someone who's selling crystals. That could be really cool. There's so many cool things you could do here. You could do food items if you want someone to be like a seller of certain foods. You could have like fish tacos and burgers and make like a little snack bar. I mean, the options are endless. So for me, I'm just going to throw in a bunch of these tropical little items all over the place so that it just has this natural aesthetic that you're walking on the beach and all these items are just strewn about. So we have fish, shells, octopus, etc. Now I'm going to finish this build with extra details like stone wells, extra fruit and foods, and all those little items that is going to just really make this build feel super real. So again, I'm adding chairs in the areas where it looks a little empty. The yellow really looks so pretty in this tropical palette, and it also looks more realistic as if the sellers and the distributors of these items have a little place to sit. So we're adding some of the wicker little stools and then some of the yellow Encanto chairs as well. Okay, now we're going to work on building Eric's castle on this side of the beach. I love the look when you're running through the dock build and the little market build, what it looks like going into Eric's castle. So what I did was I lined from the bridge the red carpets up until his castle and adjusted until it looked good. Of course, we have to add palm trees around the build. So there is going to be a lot of palm trees here, but this is just how I began, slowly unsure of where I wanted palm trees. Then I used the vine walls as a backdrop for this build. I wanted it to feel really tropical and still royal. So adding these with the vine part forward just looks so pretty, and that rich green with the yellow complements this palette so well. I'm using the white columns as little, I don't even know. I just like to add these as a backdrop, and then I also added the royal candelabras, and this just makes it look super royal and super magnificent. Then for a backdrop that still looks good with the rest of this build from the back, I'm going to add a bunch of palm trees, and this is just going to look super full and vibrant. And then from every angle, you're going to have this gorgeous look of palm trees in the area, so it doesn't look so stark. The palm trees around here are really going to look natural, as if there's just a beautiful area of palm trees on the beach. Now we're going to work on Eric's castle, and for Eric's castle, I started with some of the oil lamps all around the area and the palm trees. I also added some of the gold, I don't even know what these called. They're like gold vases. I also added some of the white vases, and then on either side of the house where there was empty space, I went in with the white royal pianos and some of the white and gold pathing underneath. I also added some of the red little stools in front of our piano as seating, and then I went in with some of the, I think those are the coconut trees, just to add some usefulness and practicalness while still decorating. I also added a seating nook next to the dock area. And because I don't have Eric's ship, I did use Donald's, but once I get Eric's ship, I will put it there and I think it'll look so, so nice. I'm also going to add the Encanto pools on either side of the castle, as well as a little seating nook with a red carpet, a little table, books, foliage, a mini Eric ship, and some of the Green Beauty and the Beast lounge chairs. Then for our Dazzle Beach well, our travel well, I'm going to surround it with the Hercules floral arches, as well as one of the little Hercules fountains. I'm going to add one of the fountains on the entrance here as well. And then I'm going to make sure that everything is walkable and smooth. To really add in that dock aesthetic, to make the water feel like it's coming up to Eric's castle, we're going to fill this entire area with a ton of cattails and just a bunch of the water foliage to really, really give it that super beachy, overgrown look, as if Eric's castle is just coming out of the water the way Ariel's is. At this point, I decided to replace the rustic clock with the Beauty and the Beast fountain, and it looks so much better. I had to make adjustments to make it fit, but I kept the same design style, and I think it looks so much better. Now this build is complete, and we're gonna walk through at different times of day. We're gonna go up to our different little areas, make any adjustments, drop any extra items. As I mentioned here, I did go back in and add some more books. I added the frozen snow globe, and then on the other side, I'm gonna drop some potion to make it look like paint for our little painter. So enjoy this time. I'm gonna stop talking because it's been a long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it so much. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video at all, please give it a like. Oh my god, please give it a like, comment if you can, even if you just leave a mermaid emoji. It would mean so much to me to know that you're watching, that you're enjoying my channel. I have been playing this game since the very beginning, and I have been loving learning how to build and getting better at building. I am a creative, and so this is just such a fun way for me to share some of my creativity with you guys, and I hope that you are enjoying it. And if you recreate this at all, feel free to tag me here or on Instagram at Gabriella. And now let's enjoy our walkthrough because this is so beautiful. I wish I could go to it in real life. Anyway, happy gaming, stay cozy. I love you guys.